A couple of months ago, a friend asked me, "What's your favorite genre?" And I said, "Romance." And she said, "Hmm, I've actually never read that genre because I've always felt that it gives women unrealistic expectations." And I thought, I've heard that before. Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Aya, and I talk about books, K dramas, and everything in between. So if you enjoy that, please stay a while. Okay, so what are we talking about? First, first. I'm so sorry that I missed my upload. As usual, I'm sick. I'm still sick, actually. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. I am still very sick. I have a migraine. I have some abdominal issues. I don't even know. Let's not even get into it. But I'm here. I feel a little bit better, so I can film this today. So back to the video. What are we talking about? A couple of weeks ago I saw something in the news. A couple of things actually. I saw something about domestic violence report, a restraining order from a huge celebrity, a black female celebrity. And then it made me think of another black celebrity. And I saw a lot of YouTube videos analyzing why this keeps happening, blah, blah, blah. Then I saw a video circulating on TikTok about an interview of a marriage. I think, yeah, it's this couple. They're giving marriage counseling and they were on a podcast and they were talking about their marriage. And she was saying she was graced to be with him even though he was cheating on her. And I remember thinking, okay, what is going on? And then just a couple of days ago, I also saw something huge thing on TikTok. Apparently, there's this cheating scandal on a very famous TikTok couple. And again, every time I see these news items, every time I hear these stories, I think, hmm, what does this have to do with romance? Let's talk about it. All right. I've always felt that we need the romance genre. As someone who writes literary fiction, studied literature in school, I'm a book girly. Okay, I like books, but not just any kind of books. I like classics. I like deep books. I like the books that win the Nobel Prizes. I like the women's fiction books. I love all of them. But primarily, I read romance. I've always read romance. Even when I was a kid, I read more romance than I read anything else. I enjoyed these other genres. I enjoy lit fic. I enjoy sci-fi. I enjoy thrillers. But I keep coming back to romance. I love stories about women for women. And I've always felt that there's something different about them, especially in romance. Then I read an article a couple of years ago. I think I was still in school when I read it, where this person was saying there's a reason why the romance genre is so popular with women. It's because it is the only genre that celebrates women and that restores their dignity. It's the one genre where when men mess up, they have to apologize. Did you hear that? I'm going to repeat it again. When men do something wrong in the romance genre, they have to apologize to the woman. That's where the groveling comes in. That's where all of the you have to make amends. Okay, if you don't, sorry, sorry, nothing is happening. This is not romance. It has to end with him realizing what he's done and apologize. Only then can we restore the equilibrium, and only then can we go back to this romance. Okay, and what does that do? It gives you dignity, it gives you respect because love and respect go hand in hand. There are two sides of a coin. You cannot love someone that you don't respect. You cannot respect someone that you don't love and admire. They go hand in hand. And again and again and again, we tell women, no, you shouldn't expect that. Even when women are doing more, for the first time in history, we have more educated women. We have women, black women, they are very educated. Even they might be the most educated at this point. Men are dropping out of schools, they're not able to keep up. We don't know. Yeah, that's a different social issue. I don't want to go into that. But all I'm saying is that we are seeing more women achieve a lot of things. But at the same time, society is not catching up with that. We are still saying, oh, you have to make yourself small. Even when you achieve all of this, you have to make yourself small. You have to hold yourself back. You have to accept less. Again and again and again, society tells women you have to always cater to men, even when we don't need to cater to them. I'm from Nigeria, and in Nigeria, there's a very um common saying, "Oh, what are you gonna do? Is that what you're gonna do in your husband's house?" I heard it from my aunts, I heard it from my uncles, I heard it from my mom. Again and again, they said, "Oh, why are you doing this? Oh, oh yeah, is that what you're gonna do in your husband's house?" When I say I don't want to cook, oh, oh, what will your husband eat? Oh, I don't want to clean. Okay. So what how will you find a husband? Okay. And I remember one time I responded to my mom. I had just read a romance novel where the man was a chef and she didn't have to cook. When my mom said, because I have to give you the background of this, I love books. I always read books. And I came back from school, and instead of cooking with my mom, I went to my books. Okay. I always chose the books over the cooking, the cleaning, any of that. The chores, okay. I had my chores. I knew that I had to do them, but my mom had a rule. You do your chores on your own time as long as they get done. So I always did them when I wanted. But the cooking, what will people eat? So when she told me, so I just read this romance novel, and when she told me, "Oh, what will your husband eat when you keep reading instead of learning to cook?" And I said, "What if I marry a chef?" Okay, because I just read about a chef that married a woman that doesn't like to cook. Okay, what if I marry a chef? And she started laughing and said, "Well, the cooking is actually for you." All right, it's for you. I said, "You should have started from that." Okay, she said, "Yes, a basic adult skill is to cook." Yeah, let's start there. Don't tell me it's about my husband, because I don't hear you telling my brother that it's about getting a wife. Okay. She said, "Oh, you need to learn to cook so that's when you leave the house. What are you gonna eat?" Well, that's what you should tell me too. Don't tell me anything about a husband. This has nothing to do with a man. Why do I have to cater to a man I've not even met? Okay. I'm not married. Oh, I'm not about to get married. What? I was 16. I wasn't thinking about that. But again and again and again, we tell women that this is the prize. This is what you need to aspire to, a marriage. You could win. You could cure cancer. You could do have a breakthrough. You could be the president. But are you married? Do you have kids? Yeah, that is the main thing. Is your husband happy? Again and again and again. And do you see this? Do you see how this is perpetrated? But because I addressed a romance novel and I was able to push back and say, what if he's a chef? What if he doesn't care? What if he loves me? Okay. Because romance genre reminds me that I should demand respect and love and dignity. And that is why I think we need romance genre. That is what we are missing. And every time we denigrate the romance genre, every time we say, oh, it's setting unrealistic expectations. You know what else sets unrealistic expectations? Fantasy, because I don't see any of these things in reality. They don't exist. But they are constructed to teach truths. There are so many things that we can learn from fantasy about political sphere, about social issues. These are the things that we contend with in the themes. And again, romance does that too. It reminds us, don't settle for less. Don't take anything. Don't take anything less than someone that treats you like a human being, that treats you with dignity, that treats you with respect, that comes back and apologize. Okay? And it's okay to let go. If he's gonna hurt you, let him go. Okay? Because someone better will always come along. That is what the romance genre is for. And that is why when Jane Austen wrote in Pride and Prejudice, and Darcy said, "One word from you, And I'll never say this again to Elizabeth after proposing to her, and she said no. Groundbreaking. Why? Because it is about her dignity. He was saying, oh, I understand the concept of no. I understand your humanity and your need to be able to say no as a full sentence. It's okay to say no. I don't have to push your boundaries. That is something that we learn from Pride and Prejudice, one of the foremost romance novels that we think of when we think of romance. It's why it was so groundbreaking when Charlotte Bronte wrote in Jane Eyre, and Jane refused to be Mr. Rochester's mistress when she leaves him because of that. Groundbreaking. When Anne Bronte wrote in the Tenant of Wildfell Hall, and she had a woman leave her husband at a time when it was inconceivable for a man to leave her husband, an abusive man. And she did it. And she wrote about it. She was teaching us to demand respect. And that is what the romance genre is for, to remind us that we do not have to accept less than human. We do not have to accept what society tells us to. We do not have to. We can actually teach men to be better. Don't place the responsibility on me, place it on them to be better men. Then maybe they can deserve a better woman. Are you getting what I'm saying? And that is why I really enjoyed when Emily Henry wrote here in Great Big Beautiful Life. I got my copy. Isn't it so pretty? When she wrote Aiden when she wrote Aiden apologizing to Alice and saying, I am sorry, I was rude. Thank you. And that is why we keep reading romance genre. Having men apologize for their bad behavior. That is why we need romance genre. That is why women love it. Because again and again, when we read books that cater to men, they keep treating women as plot devices. They keep treating women as things, as objects. They do not restore our dignity. But in this genre that is exclusively written for us and by us, restore our own dignity. And we need it to keep our standards, but also to remind us that good men exist. And you can find one, and I can find one. We just have to wait and hold on and not let society keep telling us it does not exist. Because when they do, they force us to reduce ourselves, to make ourselves small. And that is why I will keep reading romance. And that is why I think you need to keep reading romance. Then we won't have women going on podcasts telling us that the reason why we don't have men is because we are not graced to accept cheating. We are not graced to accept beatings. We are not graced to accept everything that is against the humanity and the dignity of women. And I am never going to be graced for that. When Dima of K Drama Land said, these books and these K dramas remind us that everything you ever thought, every standard you ever thought was too high, raise it again. Okay? Raise it again. Expect more. Always, always, always expect more. And that is the only way that we can stand our ground. And that is the only way that we can make a little change in society. If I choose not to, and you choose not to, and we keep speaking about it, maybe finally they'll listen to us and start trying to change. Okay. So next time a friend asks you, why do you love romance? Oh, isn't it a little bit unrealistic? Sit them down and tell them, oh, let me take you back. Let me remind you. Fantasy, thrillers, oh, aren't they unrealistic too? Okay. And that is the little I have for you today. It's not a definitive thing, it doesn't say everything. It's just a little thing that has been in my mind and I've been thinking about and I've been ruminating on why exactly these things keep bothering me, even though I love Litwick. I love the reality. I love all of that. But at my heart, at my core, I'm a romance girl. And why? Because I want to be loved. I also want to be loved. Okay. I'm still single, still looking for that chef. Call me. I still don't like to cook. I still am not sleeping in the kitchen. And unfortunately for me, I still haven't found that man. But oh, I keep holding on. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I have really, really enjoyed hanging out with you. Thank you for taking time out of your day to spend time with me. I do not take it for granted. I am extremely grateful. I am still sick, so I don't know if we'll go back to normal uploads. But till next time, bye.